Seriously, guys, DEI has weakened us from within. They care more about not offending certain groups than telling us the truth. You see, the FBI, they finally had to backtrack earlier statements and confirm that the New Orleans attack was indeed inactive. Now, this after the DEI agent on scene initially said that it was not an event. Now, we got the clip and everything. Just sit tight, guys. Together with that, guys, we also have to talk about the Tesla Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas. So they're now considering a possible connection considering that there was a lot of similarities between the two suspects, including the fact that they both served in the military and were even stationed at the same place in 2009. Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, says that his gut feeling says that they are connected. And so this is why he warns that the U.S. national security is in grave danger. So make sure you guys watch this video until the very end. We have a lot to share with you guys today. Okay, so as promised, here's FBI Special Agent in Charge, Althea Duncan, who first said that the New Orleans attack, 14 Americans, was not at the event. Check this out.
Good morning. My name is Althea Duncan. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in Charge for FBI New Orleans. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not an event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if this is a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all the way to St. Anne until we can figure out what is going on. Our goal is to provide you additional information at the 11 a.m. press conference. Thank you so much, and we will be in touch.
So DEI hire, I'm going to leave that up to you guys to answer that one, because even if the suspect is a citizen and a veteran, that in no way means that he isn't, right? You know what I mean, right? This is probably why the new FBI confirmed that they're working with partners to investigate this as an active. It took them long enough, right? But what's even scarier is that they've only just revealed this new footage of individuals in the same place who look like they're placing possible explosives at the venue. Could they be accomplices to the New Orleans? Here, check this out.
But now we're hearing this video of 3 men and 1 woman placing items, and it seems as though they are connected to the suspect. Tracy, what do you say to that?
Well, this is very, very similar to the Boston Marathon bombing that was just brought up, and the Tsarnaev brothers, where you had 2 of them, right, placing those IEDs. This is not at all surprising, because I do think it would have taken multiple individuals to place the IEDs, plan on where that placement would be, as well as then obviously use the vehicle to ram this crowd. But what that also tells me as well is, look, I'm former law enforcement. I think law enforcement is actually doing an excellent job here, but it seems to me that there may not have been explosive sweeps that were done of the French Quarter and of Bourbon Street in particular as a result of securing this area, because part of me does wonder if that explosive would have been picked up by either a dog or a device. Again, I can't say for certain if that occurred, but part of me does wonder. There's no question they are now looking for these individuals and combing through particularly that digital evidence.
Plus, there's also the fact that authorities are now discussing some very striking similarities between the Tesla Cybertruck explosion and the New Orleans vehicle attack. Check this out.
Fox News Alert, top of the hour to Las Vegas now, where police are updating on the Cybertruck explosion there. Let's listen.
Investigation involving the FBI, the ATF, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and these folks worked through the night and found a lot of stuff that is very useful for this investigation. As you look at this Cybertruck here, we had to transport this down to our fleet services so that we could really get through this thing. And I remind you that the subject inside wasn't able to be removed for a very long period of time because he was burnt beyond recognition. And so as we continue to move through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about his identity and what we believe, but I would like to highlight a couple of things that the teams found inside of the Cybertruck that are useful to the investigation. And that, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber semi-automatic pistol. And if you'll notice on a lot of these guns that we're going to talk about here, they're almost just burnt beyond recognition as well. There's a SLR model B30 semi-automatic firearm, number of fireworks that were still in the vehicle that had to be removed. Notably, we found an iPhone and a smartwatch, and then several credit cards were also in the name of our subject. Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado, born July 22nd of 1987. Now, as you'll see here on a picture of his driver's license, let's see, the question really still remains for me, and I know that there's a lot of you folks in the media that are identifying this person as the person in our vehicle. As I mentioned to you already, his body is burnt beyond recognition, and I do still not have confirmation 100% that that is the individual that was inside of our vehicle.
Now, they're still not 100% confirming the suspect's identity, but in a more recent development, they actually revealed that the tattoos helped authorities identify him. The same sheriff, Kevin McMahill of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, shared that there are 2 tattoos that have given them a lot of confidence that this is, in fact, the same person, as well as which the clearly obvious, which is the credit cards, the military identification, the passport. But seriously, guys, these local authorities are just running circles around the FBI. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like the feds have just become an embarrassing woke joke lately. The same clowns telling us Biden was Sharka's attack, they tried to fool us at first, saying that this isn't an act of the internet found out more about the suspects in the first 2 hours than the FBI did in 2 days. You know what I mean, guys? Like, no wonder Tom Homan, Trump's new incoming border czar, is worried about our country. Watch.
What was your reaction to what you heard?
Well, look, I think the further the investigation goes, I think they are going to find a connection between the 2 incidents. But look, they're both suicide events. The man in New Orleans certainly had no plans of going home for getting out and trading gunfire with law enforcement. So I think both these men realized they weren't going home after this event. But they aren't over. I've been on this network for 4 years talking about this coming across our southern border. And, we got a record number of known gotaways. Over 2 million people enter this country. We don't know who they are or where they came from or what their purpose to come to this country. They weren't vetted. They weren't screened. They weren't fingerprinted. We don't know who they are. And since the Border Patrol and CBP arrested well over 300 people on the watch list, how many of that 2.2 million who escaped apprehension, who escaped vetting, who escaped fingerprinting, came from country sponsoring? Even Christopher Wray, the director of FBI, said numerous times under testimony in front of Congress that this is the biggest national security vulnerability he's seen. I agree with him. So we're not out of the woods. This country's in grave danger. We need to secure that border. And despite what's happened the last 2 days in Las Vegas and in New Orleans, this administration is not stopping. They're still releasing thousands of people every week through the CBP One app, the CHMV program, and Border Patrol continues to release people in this country without proper vetting. This is not a good thing, and I can't wait for the new administration to take power and secure this border and protect our national security.
Well, the police.
Yeah, there's definitely something wrong here, guys. And all this DEI woke shenanigans, they're not helping. I mean, you got the FBI special agent in charge saying that this is not an event at the same news conference as the New Orleans mayor, LaToya Cantrell, who said that the attack was indeed enacted. Guess which office had to walk back their comment? You see, things just don't get done when they're too worried about offending somebody or possibly stepping on somebody's toes at the time. Unbelievable. Now, this is exactly what happens when the focus shifts from efficiency and clarity to optics and making sure that everybody feels included. Got to give everybody the warm and fuzzies, huh? Sure, inclusivity is important in some contexts, but when it starts creeping into how we respond to crises, now we got a real problem here. So the FBI should be laser focused on the facts and the evidence, not worried about whether or not their language or decisions might ruffle some feathers. Bottom line, guys, in situations like this, we need decisive leadership, not some PR juggling act. Otherwise, we're left with mixed messages and a public that just doesn't know what to believe, or even worse, doesn't trust the authorities. You know what I mean? Drop a quick yes in the comments down below and hit the like button if I'm making sense to you guys. And while you're at it, you can also subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. That way you guys won't miss out on the breaking news updates like this one. So another important angle that they're looking at is the number of similarities that the 2 January 1st attacks have between them. I mean, like right now, FBI investigators cannot definitively link the deadly attack that occurred early on New Year's Day in New Orleans Orleans with the Tesla Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas, but several similarities have been found between the two men that are involved. All right, so let me help catch you guys up. So the driver of the Tesla truck was identified as Matthew Livelsberger. He was an active Army soldier from Colorado. The Clark County, Nevada coroner's office confirmed Livelsberger's identity following an autopsy. Investigators also said that the tattoos found on the body matched those belonging to Livelsberger. A military identification card and passport belonging to Livelsberger were also found at the scene of the explosion. Now, they believe that he was the only person to be inside of the truck, which was rented in Colorado. Reports are saying that they actually rented it from Turo. Now, the FBI, meanwhile, identified the driver of the rented Ford truck, that 14 people, and injured at least 35 others in Bourbon Street as Samsud Din Jabbar, who also had a military background in the U.S. Army. Now, right there is their very first important similarity. Livelsberger and Jabbar both served in the U.S. Army. Now, the Department of Defense confirmed that Livelsberger was a special operations sergeant with the Green Berets and that he spent much of his time in the Army at Fort Carson in Colorado and in Germany. Now, according to the Army, Livelsberger was assigned to the 10th Special Forces Group in Stuttgart, Germany. The Army spokesperson said that Livelsberger received several awards, including the Brown Star Medal with Valor and other awards and commendations. Now, Livelsberger enlisted as an 18X and served in active duty from January 2006 to March 2011. So basically, he was training to be in Army Special Forces. He then joined the National Guard from March 2011 through July 2012. After that, Livelsberger was in the Army Reserve until December 2012 when he entered active duty as an Army Special Operations soldier. Now, this last part here, guys, Las Vegas police said that Livelsberger served at Fort Bragg in North Carolina and Afghanistan in 2009. Now, it's important because investigators said that, like Livelsberger, Jabbar also served at Fort Bragg and Afghanistan in 2009. Now, what we don't know yet is whether the two men were a part of the same unit or maybe in the same region of Afghanistan during their deployment. Now, Jabbar was part of the regular Army from March 2007 to January 2015 as a human resource specialist and information technology specialist before transitioning to the Army Reserve as an IT specialist from January 2015 to July 2020. He deployed to Afghanistan from February 2009 to January 2010 and held the rank of Staff Sergeant at the time of his discharge, according to the spokesperson. Now, another similarity between the two, both of them rented vehicles from Turo, which is an online car rental app. Turo even had to release a statement about it, saying that they're actively partnering with law enforcement authorities as they investigate both incidents. So far, their records show that neither had a criminal record or criminal background that would have identified them as a security. Now, apart from that, there's also the timing of the New Orleans attack and the Las Vegas explosion. The New Orleans police officers responded to Bourbon Street at 3:17 a.m. on New Year's Day for a report of a vehicle that had driven onto Bourbon Street and struck some pedestrians. The FBI said that Jabbar's final video to Facebook was posted at 3:02 a.m., which was just 15 minutes before police were called to Bourbon Street. The truck, believed to be driven by Livelsberger, was first spotted in Las Vegas at 7:29 a.m. The surveillance footage shows the Cybertruck pulling into the Trump Hotel valet parking area before it left and then traveled along Las Vegas Boulevard. The Cybertruck was then spotted parked at a business on the boulevard near Flamingo Road. At 8:39 a.m., the Cybertruck was again spotted near the Sands Hotel and Casino before it returned back to the Trump Hotel valet parking area where the explosion took place within 17 seconds later, according to the police. Now, in short, these two vehicle-related incidents happened just hours from one another. Now, the motivation behind Livelsberger's Las Vegas attack is still unknown, but we do know that Jabbar was inspired for his attack in the French Quarter District. He basically said as much in the 5 videos on his Facebook account in the hours just before the attack, in which he proclaimed his support to the militant group and previewed the violence that he would soon unleash in New Orleans. Christopher Rea, the Deputy Assistant Director of the FBI Division, he confirmed it too, saying that this was it was premeditated and an evil act. Rhea also confirmed that Jabbar was 100% inspired by the Islamic State. He even had an actual flag on the car. So none of us are really that surprised. But even if they later find out that the two attacks are connected and there's some kind of inspired network operating on U.S. soil right now, all bets are off. Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, said as much himself. He said he had a gut feeling having done this for 3.5 decades. For him, there's just too many similarities. There's too much coincidence. So his prediction is something down the road, they're going to show that there's some sort of a connection. Apart from that, Tom Homan urged the incoming Trump administration to ramp up insider analysis, which he said was put on the back burner by the Biden administration. He explained how we've got 2 people who served in the military that allegedly committed these acts. So we really need to dig down into these insiders in our military and our federal service. Now, in the same interview, Tom Homan also warned that we're not out of the woods yet, that this country is in grave danger. He said that we need to secure the border, and despite what's happened in the last 2 days in Las Vegas and New Orleans, this administration is not stopping. They're still releasing thousands of people every week without proper vetting. According to Tom Homan, over 2 million people entered the country. We don't know who they are, and we don't know where they came from or what their purpose was for coming to this country. So stuff like what happened in New York City subway, New Orleans, Las Vegas, this could just be the beginning, guys. So stay safe, stay vigilant, you guys, and let me know what you guys think about this one. Drop a quick comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, tap the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next updates. Now, speaking of, stick around, guys, because at the end of this one, you're going to see some suggested videos that I really think that you should check out. But as always, appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys next time.